This is the story of a pumpkin of white. What is its place on this autumn night? Amidst all the orange and colors of fall, it seems out of place, not belonging at all. But oh, what a place, and oh, what a story. You see, in its face lies the image of glory, of babies so small, so incredibly tiny, perfect in purpose, their souls shining brightly. No less a baby, a child just the same, as one who was held and called by their name. Was my baby a he, or was she a she?
Welcome back to the No Foot Too Small podcast. My name is Jackie Selsky. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications here at No Foot Too Small. And we have another special episode for you during the month of National Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, October. I have personally been really looking forward to this one, and I'm just really excited to share it with you. And I don't want to give away the guest because I think some people know my passion for this particular guest's story and just kind of what she's done with her own life story. So I'm just going to let her introduce herself and we'll go from there. So Jennifer, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
So Jennifer Giles, I want to say your full name because I want to make sure people can look you up if they want to at the end of this episode, but tell me where you are from. I have been so excited. I've been trying to check off every one of the 50 states with our guests. So you'll have to let us know where you're located right now.
Yes, awesome. I'm originally from South Carolina, so some people might detect a little Southern accent because I still have it.
Love it.
But
I love it.
I'm from there. I went kindergarten all the way through college. I met my husband at Clemson University, so go Tigers. But yes, that's where we're from. Our roots are South Carolina, and then we are a military family.
Okay.
So when he went active duty, we moved to Georgia and lived there for 3 years, and then now we're in Virginia, and we've been here. This is our 5th year, so we feel really blessed. That's not common for a military family to have that long in one spot. And so we're really, really thankful because we really have found community here. And I'm in my classroom right now. I'm a teacher, and I teach 2nd grade at the same school where my children attend.
Oh.
And we just have found a home here. And, we eventually want to, settle back in South Carolina, but we're really thankful and we really enjoy this part of the United States. It's really beautiful here. So.
I love that. It's nice that you've been able to see quite a bit of the country.
Yes. Yeah. So we haven't had to move too much. So I don't, like, as I said, it's not common for military families. So I feel change is hard.
Yeah.
But the changes that God has given us have been really sweet so far. So we're thankful for that.
Oh, good. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And if you feel comfortable, I'd love to learn a little bit more about your family and your kids and just a little bit about your story over the last however many years as you've kind of moved around, whatever you're willing to share. Just tell us a little bit about your family.
Yeah, sure. So my husband, Matt, is active duty military. And so he's been in the military since he was 18. He started in the Marines and then joined the National Guard to help pay for school when he was in college. And so since I've known him, he's been in the military and that's been part of his life, his identity. So I feel very proud to be a military wife and to support him and, our country in that way.
Well, please thank him from us. Thank him for his service.
Oh, thanks. No, he's very humble. He's not much for thank you, but I will definitely tell him he enjoys his job. He loves his job. He works really hard. And yeah, I'm just really proud to be his wife. So he's a wonderful man. And then our 2 oldest, we have Caleb, who is 6th grade this year. He's going into middle school. Well, he's in middle school now, which is really hard for me to wrap my brain around. And he's playing football this year too. So I'm like nervous mama this year because, my baby's out there tackling and, doing all these things. And I feel like just yesterday he was little, and so they just grow really fast.
Yeah.
Like, stop growing. And he's almost as tall as me. And so I'm just, stop growing, buddy. I want him to grow, but I don't know. It's that mixture. And then Joshua is our 2nd, and he's in 5th grade this year. So he's the oldest
top dog.
Elementary, so he's top dog.
Yeah.
He's doing wonderful. And then after our 2 first boys, that's when we got pregnant with Madelyn. She's our daughter, and she is in heaven with Jesus. She passed in 2017. And, I know we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, about her. And then we have Samuel, who is in first grade. He is our baby born, after we lost our Maddie. So he's our Samuel. And then we have Andrew, who is in pre-K 4, and he's 4 years old. So we have 4 boys on earth and a little girl in heaven.
You
and
have your hands full. I can
have
imagine.
A full house.
Yes.
It's not quiet, really, ever.
Oh my goodness.
But I love it. I never imagined that I would have 4 boys. I never saw myself with that family dynamic. But that's what we have, and it's beautiful, and it's strengthened me in ways that I never could have asked for or known, but ways that I'm just really thankful. It's made me so much stronger. When you're given something that you don't expect, it's just it puts you out of your comfort zone, so to speak.
Yeah, it sure does. And I think the whole point of this podcast for us too is, every conversation is about things we don't expect in life, mm-hmm. and how do we navigate that? And I think our mission is just to make sure that we know we don't have to navigate it alone. Mm-hmm. And so I am especially grateful for you, because I know one of the things that you have done is helped so many people across the country not feel alone. and just from the bravery of sharing your story. And so if you feel comfortable, I'd love to hear a little bit more about Madelyn and your journey with her. And and then we can kind of share the surprise of why I invited you here after that, what led to that. But whatever you're willing to share, we'd love to learn about her.
Yeah, she, now that you say that, I don't know, I'll have to exit out. Can you guys see my shirt? Can I scroll down for a second?
Yes.
So this is my white pumpkin shirt, and that kind of gives a little bit of a clue.
Yeah, sneak peek.
Right now. I'll keep that, hush, hush. But actually my friend Kate, I was teaching first grade in South Carolina, and I was pregnant with Madelyn, and I was very, very close with 2 of my friends. Or 2 of my teammates, and that during that year. And I don't know if, we all hold on to different things in different ways, and different things stand out to us. But she remembers little things about her. For example, I used to crave, they had this like mix between a ranch and Italian dressing at our elementary school. And when they had it available, I would get like 3 containers. Like I would like overkill, and I was just loved it. And so I always used to say, like, she is going to be like a pickle loving olive, she's going to have like that kind of a tooth, because I just wanted it so much. And so, in fact, like after she passed, years went by, and my friend Kate was still teaching at that school, and she sent me a picture of that dressing, and she said, look what they have today. And it's just little things like that,
mm-hmm.
When we lose our children so young and we don't have the chance to get to know them, those little things mean so much. Those little memories that we can hold on to mean so much. So that's one memory I like to share. And Kate, my friend, was the one that she sent me a picture of this shirt, and she's like, look what I just saw online. Like, so I got this shirt, and just having those friendships and people in my life at that time that really got to know her and know me that year that I was teaching and pregnant with her is just super sweet to me, and I hold on to it. But my husband was actually at a military school at the time that she passed. He was actually away from home.
Oh, gosh.
And so that I look back on that night that I realized, I just realized she wasn't moving. And my sweet, sweet, sweet neighbor, we call them Mimi. We still are close to them to this day, call them Mimi and Pop Pop, because they were older and their kids were grown, mm-hmm. but they loved at the time, like Caleb was 2.5 and Joshua was just past 1. Ish. I'm probably mudding that. I should have done my research and tried to remember. I'm probably all wrong on that, but they were little.
That's okay. I feel like my mom got our names wrong. So
what year was that?
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Yeah. So, but they were very young. And Caleb does remember this. So he actually, I think I told you wrong, because Caleb was born. Let me make sure of this. He was born in 2013, and she passed in 2017. So he was almost 4.
Okay.
And Joshua was right around 2.
Okay.
So he does have memory of it. But, I laid on my side. I got up and walked around. I drank orange juice. Like I did all the things that they tell you to do. And I just knew, like, my heart just dropped and I knew something was wrong. And because she always moved, she was a night owl. She always moved at like around 11 o'clock on the dot. I'd be trying to go to sleep,
She was
as
like,
a
not
teacher,
yet.
and she'd be like, not now, mama. Duck, 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 duck. And that's another thing I love about her is I always looked forward to that time. My husband was away at school, at Master Gunner School. I was teaching full time. I had two young boys. And so I was pregnant, but like not realizing I was pregnant half the time because I was like running
Go, go,
around.
go. Yeah.
So at night, that was my time with her. We just had our time and I just knew something was wrong. And so I called them and thankfully, I'm sure they knew we're getting a phone call at 10:30 at night. Like this is strange. And they answered and said, I need you to take me to the hospital. Can you take me to the hospital? So Pop drove me. And Mimi came over and stayed with the boys. And, he was there when I was told she didn't have a heartbeat. And, everything after that, I actually went into natural labor the next day.
Oh, wow.
It just happened spontaneously. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to be induced or anything. And it was a beautiful labor. It really was. As hard as it was a beautiful, beautiful labor. And then my husband, we actually have two really good friends. He was, of course, away and found out the next morning because I had called his phone all night long, but he didn't have it near him. And so
Yeah.
he found out, well, there was no way with traffic and everything that he would have gotten to the hospital in time to even see her. We had friends that they have a plane actually, and they took their own plane, flew to get him, picked him up, and brought him to me. And
Oh, my
I look back on
goodness.
that and I'm like, God's hand was just all over that. Like the people that he brought in our lives, the doctor that delivered Caleb, who was the doctor that got me through natural birth, my very first birth happened like that with Caleb. And it was kind of traumatic. And I was like, I need an epidural. And the doctor was like, you gotta push. And I was like, no. And like it was like this back and forth. And he
Oh,
became like a father figure to me. He just happened to be the doctor on call with Madelyn.
that's beautiful.
And he was just oohing and awing over her, even though she had already passed. Oh, she's so beautiful. Look at her toes. And it was so sweet. And as hard as it was, I like to focus on those things because
Yeah.
to me, she's still alive, like she's still living. And so I focus on her little toes and holding her. And Matt got there and it was just, God was just with us and he carried us. And of course, I haven't told that story to very many people at all. So I'm kind of, I actually shared it and that feels really good because I mean, not a lot of people know that that's all that we went through, that it wasn't just that we lost her, that it was we were apart and that
Yeah.
like all the factors that had to come into play to make it happen so that we could be a family together with our daughter. And so if that's encouragement, our stories are all different and they're all hard, but I know we all have like beautiful parts of them too. And so like choosing to focus on that and choosing to focus on the things that we were able to experience in those moments that we can hold on to, I think is what I try to do and what I try to help others do and like what my passion is and what I share and what I choose to share and what I choose to talk about it or talk about it and how I choose to, just connect with other people that have had the same experience. So
Yeah. We always say at No Foot Too Small that joy and grief can coexist and they can live.
bitter and the sweet.
Yeah, they live side by side. And I don't know if you know this, but the first part of our mission is to celebrate. And we really believe passionately that, to your point, there is so much beauty in the sadness and in the loss. And when we focus on that and come together, there's so much good. And so,
Yes,
and
so
I know
much.
that that's hard in different seasons as we're navigating this, but
Mhm.
I'm so honored that you felt comfortable enough to share that with us because we don't talk about those details enough. That's why we started this podcast. That's why we're having these conversations because
Right.
to raise awareness, the hard conversations have to be had. So just thank
totally.
you. We're very grateful for you for being.
Thank you for asking about her.
Yeah,
And that's
of
an honor
course.
to be able to talk about her. And, that's her story. That's my story as her mom. And so to be able to share it is sharing her.
Yeah.
And so to be asked about her is really sweet. So thank you
Oh,
for
well,
that.
we'll ask about her any day. We will ask so many questions. And I know that's not even the end of the story or the beautiful legacy that she is leaving. And so, to continue focusing on some of the positives and beautiful parts of this story. Tell me about the time after you lost Madelyn, when you started to feel like, I can tell my story, or I want to tell my story and I want people to know about her. How did you get to that point?
That's a really good question. It was like pretty much right away because I missed her.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about her. So in the beginning, I was sharing a good bit. We took some time after her passing, and we didn't announce it for a little bit. Like we took a few weeks, I think, just to kind of like process it. And then after that, I started a blog, and it's no longer active, but I just would share ideas and feelings and things right away. And it was a really sweet time. It was something I did it for myself so that I could kind of like get it out and like help. I had so many family members and friends that were like, "What can we do?" And I was like, "I don't know." I just listen. And I went through a period. It would be up and down, and that's one of the things. Like one day I'd want to share a good bit, and then the next day I wouldn't. And overall, right after her passing, those first year or two, I was, I'd share on social media, I'd share on my blog, I'd write. And I started a ministry. I started exercising. That was kind of like my outlet.
Mm-hmm.
It was a positive outlet. And so I started a ministry group to encourage other women who lost children, babies, to take care of themselves, to eat healthy, to exercise. And I was really strong with that for a while. And then I kind of got to the point where I was like, I need to take a step back. So I just realized that I was tired.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I just let the ladies know in my ministry group, like, I need to step away for a little while. Um, and so ever since then, I do write music. That is something that I do. And we can talk about that. Um, I don't talk about it as much anymore. I do and if anybody asks me, like, you're so sweet to ask me to come on today and share my story. Um, and it could be a combination of just being busy with life and being busy with my boys. And like, I've told people how I feel about this, and I've told people how I feel about. I've gotten it out, and I've made connections, and I've had conversations, and so I feel like God has just led me to a place of like stillness over the past few years and quiet, and I just kind of a lot of private conversations have been had. Um, but I do every year in October reach out to my school. Well, now that I'm
Oh,
teaching, and say, if you didn't know, this is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. And, I lost my daughter in 2017. If you ever need anybody to talk to. So there are like points in the year. Her birthday, we celebrate her birthday every year, and we get to go all pink and everything girly. And
I
I
love
love
that.
doing
Yeah.
that. I love doing that for her. And when she was really young, because she'll be turning 8 this March, where she would be turning 8. Um, but I was buying her new outfits, just and then giving them away. So that was something I was doing. And um, we always celebrate her birthday, and I always share that it's her birthday, and just I do for all of my children. Um, and so I would like to say that just over the years, I've maybe become more private, generally speaking, like just a little bit more quiet in general. But I still talk about her
Yeah.
and just as much. It's just maybe not as like as public as I was in the beginning, and that's okay. There might be a time that I decide it's time to start another blog, or it's time to do this, or it's time to do that. I think we go through seasons where you just have to do what you feel is right for you. And sometimes that's different from day to day, you know?
Agreed. Yeah. Hour to
Sometimes you feel
hour.
like, yeah, or
Yeah.
hour. Like sometimes you feel like you can talk about something, and then the next you feel like you can't. But I always feel really, if I feel a peace about it, I know it's right. And I
Hmm.
know it's a good time to have a conversation. Um, And for me, it comes up a good bit because, it's not often that you see somebody with all one gender, like all boys. So when I go to the grocery store, probably about once a week at least, and I'm being truthful, I get a comment like, oh, all boys, to this day, about once a week. And it's that often
Wow.
because everywhere I go, people see my boys and, they don't know that I'm missing a child.
Yeah. How
And
do you
so,
answer that normally?
good question.
Yeah.
I do try to feel how I'm feeling in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I do typically say, oh, well, yeah, I do have a daughter and she's in heaven with Jesus, but yeah, these boys, they're so, and I, I try to do it in a way that it doesn't make the person feel bad, but I do try to, because I want her to be seen.
Yeah.
I want her to be known. And my boys know that she's missing too. And so I try to, most of the time, at this point, it feels natural for me to say that. Sometimes, like if we're in a hurry or, you know, it's just one of those situations where it's just not the time.
Mm-hmm.
Or I feel maybe a little bit sensitive in the moment. And I feel like maybe I might come across as or say something I don't intend to say. Not in a bad way, but like, I don't know. Just I'm very sensitive to protecting other people. And I don't want to ever somebody to ever feel bad. Um, so there's only a few of those times that I might say, I know they're just, but in my heart, I speak her name.
Yeah.
At the
Yeah.
same time, it's like my voice is saying something, but my heart is saying, like chiming in. And I know she knows.
That's all
I'm
that
not,
matters.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not,
I
what did
said
you say?
that's all that matters.
Yeah, like she knows and God knows. I did not think about her in that moment.
Yeah.
I definitely did. So it's I don't everybody's experience is different. Mine is quite I don't know, it's not quite unique, but maybe unique in a way because I do have the all boys and so people naturally just and it does hurt. It does. I'll go home and I'll talk to my husband about it. I'll be like, I just miss her. Like, oh, but it, in a way, it's a blessing now that I consider it and I sit back and I'm talking to you and I'm like, but it gives me an opportunity to talk about her because if my story is unique, but like if we flip it and I tell myself, wait a minute, Jennifer, if you did have, let's say, two girls and a boy or something, maybe people wouldn't make that comment. Maybe that's an opportunity
True.
for you to bring it up. So, and there's probably mamas watching that and dad is watching that do have that dynamic. And yet God is going to give them the opportunity to bring up their child in their own unique ways. He gives us all that like story to tell. So I just had that revelation sitting here talking about
I
you.
love
Like
that. Well, and
maybe that comment is a blessing.
yeah. Well,
So,
and you would not know this obviously, but the episode that we launched earlier in the month for October was a group of 5 young boys who we had interviewed 7 years before about their angel siblings. And then it was kind of like a recap of what they've learned or what they do differently, over the last 7 years. And so what a cool thing that we started the month with the power of these 5 young men on the couch and that you're talking about how your boys have helped you speak Madelyn's name and raise awareness. And there's just that's not planned at all, right? Didn't know that about your story, but just really a neat coincidence this month. So, because we don't typically have young kids on the couch, nor do we have all boys on the couch. So I think that's just
amazing.
yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch and listen to that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's really special. So, and I guess speaking of kind of, saying her name and making sure that she's known, I want to talk about the white pumpkin. I want to talk about why I kind of nerded out and reached out to you in the first place. And I don't know where in your journey, this poem came to be or in your writing and blogging, but I'd love for you to walk me through how these words came to be and kind of what happened after that, because I do think as soon as you start talking, a lot of our families in our community are going to know exactly what we're talking about. And if they don't, I hope that maybe it's something they embrace. Halloween is a few days away. So
Mhm.
I hope that they will learn something from it. So
Aw.
let me know what that story was about.
Yeah. So I was, oh my goodness, I'm going to tell you wrong. If it was 2018 or 2019, I don't remember off the top of my
That's
head.
okay.
Oh, it was one of those years. It was like October 30th, and it was a normal day, just normal. And I was going to sleep, and I just had literally this image of a white pumpkin, and I sat up out of bed, turned on the light. It was really late, actually. It might have been like 11 o'clock at night. I don't know. But I sat up out of bed and I just like took out my phone and I started writing this poem. And it just literally came to be in probably about 15 minutes.
Wow.
I just was like, and I just couldn't stop. And I didn't even try to edit it. My husband teases me because he's like a big English person. So he pays attention to like rhythms. And he's like, you don't want to send it to me to like edit it with you? And I'm like, I don't know. I just posted it. Like I just went post. And I woke up the next day and it had like exploded. Like I had not just people sharing it, but like organizations sharing this post. And it was just every time I would like refresh, it was like more shares. And I was like, what in the world is going on? And people were just, so of course, the next day was Halloween. And it was, I don't know, it was the timing of it. It was what it was. It was maybe what everyone needed. It was there was a need for something like this to be written, I feel like. As a lost community, like we need special things. Like we
Mm-hmm.
need things that we can use to share, like you said, about making good, making positive of our experience, and to share our children in a way that is tangible, is something that people can look at and understand.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you haven't gone through loss, it can be really hard for you to understand like what that's like. Similarly, any experience that we haven't experienced in this life that we don't know about, it can be just really hard to feel what that person's feeling. You know that it's hard, but you don't truly know what exactly it feels like. And so to have something that we can say here, like, this is what we want our children to be known for. Like, we want good, we want positive, we want light. Um, I think it was just people just gravitated towards it. And then it was people were just posting pictures of their white pumpkins and
Incredible.
no wonder I didn't know this was a thing. And I was like, I didn't know it was a thing either. And people still to this day will comment that and say, I didn't know this was a thing. And it's like, I didn't intend to start anything. I didn't intend for it to be this, I don't know, such a widely accepted and loved tradition. But that's what it's turned out to be. So yeah,
That's amazing. I did not know. I genuinely thought that you had an idea to make it a thing and tried to
oh,
launch this kind of campaign almost. So
right.
the fact that there was zero intention of that, it was just you in your room thinking of words and a symbol
Yeah,
to remember Madeline, and for it to
right.
become now I probably a global tradition in some ways. I
I
think
feel like, I don't
I
know.
think
I
there
do.
are people across the world, it's not just the US, have seen your poem and have, referenced
Mhm,
this in some way around
mhm,
Halloween. And so
mhm.
what a what an incredible story. It's even better than I thought. So that's really neat.
It really is neat. And I was telling my husband the other night when we were talking about this podcast, I was like, I just look forward to October so much because I get to see all the excitement because people still tag me and they still post and they still use the poem for their events. And, it's so sweet. And I get to
Yeah.
like know about everybody's babies and I get to connect with so many people all over the place because of this one poem. And I'm so thankful. And I just really, I mean, it's bigger than me. I really feel like God gave it to me because it was something that our community needed. And, I'm just a vessel to share it. And, you know, the fact that the pumpkin can mean so much to so many people is just such a blessing to me. So,
Yeah. Well, I shared with you, I think, when I reached out, that the last few years that I've been a part of No Fit Too Small, I have every Halloween painted a white pumpkin.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I get these grand ideas. Oh, I can hand paint the No Fit Too Small logo on a round surface. So they've been really hard once I have the vision for them. But I've done that. It's been so special to me because as somebody who doesn't have living children, that has been one of very few opportunities that I have to share an image and share something that starts a conversation, right? You know, I don't get stopped in the grocery store with questions about my kids or anything like that. And so it has opened up really beautiful conversations with people in my immediate circle and my family. And so it's become something really important to me. And, you know, I wouldn't have known you ever. I wouldn't have known your story. And so for it to connect us across the country is just really special. And so what I would love to do, if you're willing, I think if you have the poem close, I would love.
I have it on my phone.
Yeah, I would love for you to read it. And then, you know, hopefully we could kind of overlay some of the images maybe of the white pumpkins that our families have displayed or painted or bought or whatever over the years as you share the poem, just to celebrate some of our angels in our No Foot Too Small community.
Before I start, I just felt this nudge to tell you that you're a beautiful mother.
Thank you very much.
You're a mother that's just the same. So I just wanted to say that to you.
Thank you very much.
I didn't know that much about you walking into this podcast. And so just know that.
Thank you very much. Don't make me cry. I try not to cry during these ones. We had to move the tissues close. No.
I can't believe I didn't cry sharing my story. I don't know. I think I'm just so joyful right now because this is such a good thing.
It is. Yeah. And I think they give us, feels so good. They give us strength when we don't have it. So they're here. They're definitely here. So
they are completely. So I just pulled up the original post. So I just went back to it, but this is called The White Pumpkin. This is the story of a pumpkin of white. What is its place on this autumn night? Amidst all the orange and colors of fall, it seems out of place, not belonging at all. But oh, what a place and oh, what a story. You see in its face lies the image of glory. Of babies so small, so incredibly tiny, perfect in purpose, their souls shining brightly. No less a baby, a child just the same, as one who was held and called by their name. Was my baby a he, or was she a she? What would my child have grown up to be? Yet bigger than questions and what ifs and whys is the comfort they feel when they look to the skies. For their hope is the truth that they so tightly cling. I'll know all the answers, understand everything, on the day that God hands my child back to me. This pumpkin is sweet baby boys and girls who never opened their eyes to this world, never cried, never feared, protected from pain, touched by their innocence were never the same. Lives perfect and pure, all things lovely and sweet, and we honor them here till heaven we meet. This pumpkin is all the sweet little ones whose lives, although short, were covered in love, in kisses and snuggles, rocking and playing, their parents not knowing they wouldn't be staying. But the time that they had, they would never trade, even if they could be saved from the pain. Their cribs may be empty, but the promise remains. One day they'll hold their babies again. This pumpkin is for all these sweet angel friends whose parents all know this isn't the end. And how they are doing tonight up in heaven is better than anything we can imagine. Though we're missing our children and we're still on the side, our hearts will continue to swell with pride at the special, the wondrous, the out-of-place things, like this white pumpkin and the joy that it brings. A reminder that our children are more than alive. They are perfectly whole. All things are made right. Angel parents, I know there's still tears to be shed, but I hope that this pumpkin brings peace instead. Our babies are promised forever in heaven, and that's the best gift we could ever be given.
So beautiful. Thank you so much. How does it feel to read it again?
I don't think I've ever read it out loud.
Really?
Yeah. No, I don't think I've ever done that. So
wow.
That was sweet.
I feel so honored. We have so many special moments happening. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Oh, you're welcome.
The poem also, when I looked to find you, actually, I started to kind of go down the rabbit hole of the friendship that you built with, is Jessica, right?
Yeah, Jessica.
And I'd love for you to share a little bit about that too, of like how this poem brought you two together and you created even more opportunities for families through your partnership and friendship. And so share a little bit about that. if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
so I, a few years ago, felt this tug on my heart to try to create a pumpkin that people could have in their home that would go along with this poem and that they could just have it on display all year round if they would like. And so I just went on Instagram and I was like, I don't even remember what I was looking for. I think I put like um, create art. So who knows what I put, but one of those like random, like, how do I find somebody that could do something like this? And her name popped up, and she has a ministry called the Happy Home, and she helps women decorate their homes
Oh,
and do
cute.
crafts for very inexpensive. So definitely go and follow her. She's amazing. And she does the cutest things. And she does like live videos where she'll walk you through the process of how she creates the different things.
Oh, I love
And
that.
so I reached out to her and immediately we connected. And she was like, "You're never going to believe this. I have a daughter named Madeline, and she's living on Earth." And I was like, "What?" So we obviously were meant
Oh,
to be. And
yes.
so she was able to create this beautiful wooden pumpkin, and she was able to take orders from people. And it was just this beautiful thing. People would send in the name of their baby, and if it was a boy or girl, and she would make a little tag with their baby's name on it. And it's just been, and people still to this day ask her, "Do you still make those pumpkins?" And she's like, "Yes." And she'll make them one, and
I was
it's
going to
just been
say,
a
I
really
hope she's still taking orders because
she
we're going to
is.
be sending some business her way, I'm sure,
She
with this
is. I'm
episode.
sure she would be more than happy to make some beautiful pumpkins. And we have ours in display still in our home, in our dining room, and it's up all year long.
Oh, I love that.
And it's super sweet. And it's on a stand, and it's white, and it has a pink ribbon on it, and it has Madeline's name hanging. And it's just really sweet to have that in our house, and something that we can, have that reminds us of her. And
Yeah,
but yeah, and I have now, so this is one that I got last year. I wanted one that I could keep in my classroom. And so I got this, and it's got Madeline's name on it, and
all
it's
pretty.
got her birthday on the back. So
Wow,
this one I ordered off of Etsy, and connected with somebody, and I'm happy to provide that information too.
that'd be
Um,
great.
but
We'll
my
share
kids,
all of this in our show
it's
notes so
got
everybody can read.
sushi, and it sits, in between. I've got pictures of my boys and my family there, and it sits between them, and I've got pumpkins
It's
everywhere I go.
perfect. I love
Yeah.
it.
I actually had a sweet student. So my students, I told them about her last year at the beginning of the year, and they just fell in love with her, and would draw me pictures with her name on it, and would talk about her. And she would have been in second. I teach second grade. She would have been in second grade last year, and so they just, I mean, they just loved her,
Wow.
and I just could feel her in the room. And one of my parents, and without me telling the parents, the little girl in my classroom went home and told her mom, I share about white pumpkins and how they are special to me. And oh, it's October coming up. Oh, we're gonna start seeing white pumpkins. Hey guys, I want to tell you something about me and about Madeline. And I wrote a poem a long time, and I told them the story. Well, on the first day of October, the sweet little girl brought this in with a note from her mom. And the mom had said, that the child had gone home and told her how much white pumpkins. And she said, seeing as how it's the first day of October, I thought it fitting I wanted to send this to you. And it's just a little candle, but it smells wonderful. I think it's like vanilla, cinnamon, or something like that. But it sits on my desk, and my students love to like come up and
And
smell
sniff
it.
it.
And like,
Oh,
I can't lie. I don't light it ever because, I'm in a classroom, but it's just really sweet to have it
yeah.
sitting there. And the kids always love to, "Can I smell the candle?" Sure.
Oh,
And
that's a really sweet
really
way
sweet.
that, I mean, and that's not a lost family, right? That's a
Right. Right.
family that now
Right.
knows Madeline and
Right.
loves her
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
will probably share her story in some
Right.
other way too. So, wow,
Right.
that's powerful.
Yeah. I actually had a few families, reach out to me and say, "Thank you for sharing about this topic in such a tender way,
Hmm.
that my child was able to come home and, have conversations, and they were joyful, and they were just, thank you for walking the kids through something that's so dear to you in a way that um they they understood and that
Yeah.
they, it was just we've now been able to have, conversations at home and, that kind of thing. It was just really, really, really sweet.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
Well, I was going to ask something along those lines.
yeah.
I could talk to you all day, but I know we don't have
Oh,
all day. But um, you, that you obviously have touched lives around the country, around the world. And I'm sure so many people like that have reached out and said, thank you, or me too, or whatever that might be for them. But is there a particular connection that stands out to you from that poem?
I will share. I have a really, really, really sweet friend. Um, and her daughter, we were pregnant at the same time, and she has all girls. And her daughter was born right, a few months after Madeline. And I have a music ministry. I do songwrite, and I did write a song called "I Choose You" um, a few years back. And her husband actually does like video work, and we were able to do a video for the song. And it's just all about like choosing our children. And she's a friend. I think I thought of her because she's an example of somebody who just loves Madeline and will always, share the poem too, and will always talk about um, my daughter with joy and with, excitement. Um, and so those kind of connections that I've made, ones that I've had before and new ones, just the bond that we have, and even no matter what your story is, because I think that with this poem, you can really connect with people that haven't lost children too, and they feel like they have a understanding. And so I thought about her, but it's really all of the friendships that I've made, and those that I know really well and those that I don't, and those that I've just had one interaction with, just all of those really relationships that I've had, they all stand out. So yeah,
I that
I just love being able to connect with other people because of it.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect example and a great one for the message of today because so many people don't know what to say. They don't know what to do.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you don't have to do a lot and you don't have to
No,
say a lot, right? And so
right.
I love the gentle, tender
Yeah.
reminders that you've shared a few
Yeah.
that of just what people in your life have done to remember her and honor her
Yeah.
and to continue to make memories
Right.
with her.
Yes.
And I think that's beautiful because it isn't just our community that needs to
Mhm.
keep these babies' names alive, right?
Yeah.
It's all of us
It's
together.
holding hands with other people, sharing
Exactly.
about the family I just shared about, like they partnered with me and sharing a message with the world, and you know, it sharing a song with the world. And it's just really special and
Yeah.
meaningful. And I'm so thankful to have friends in my life that would do that for me. And it just has, it's just put an exclamation mark on the word friendship, and like how we really can love on other people in such like special ways. And, she would send me butterflies are also really special. I know that's a lot of us, right? Probably listening. So, that particular friend will send me pictures of butterflies when she sees them. And yeah, just having those connections and having people celebrate with you too.
Yeah.
And oh, I'm gonna get a white pumpkin to celebrate your daughter. Like those kind of connections, and that's yeah, that
Yeah.
stands out to me.
That's
Yeah.
great. When I do want
Mhm.
to, I know we probably are running out of time a little bit, but I do want to ask you about your music ministry a little
Oh
bit.
yeah.
And because I know what is so beautiful about it, and I hope people who are interested will check it out because, like I said earlier, this concept of joy and grief
Mhm.
coexisting is really important, I think, in our community. And I just love
Mhm.
your mission to spread hope in the midst of hardship, right?
Mhm.
And those two things can coexist as well. And so I'd love for you to just share a little bit about what it is
Yeah.
that fuels you in that space and what you're hoping to do with that and what that means to you right now.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've always loved music. I've always like written. I guess I've always kind of been a songwriter because I would put on little plays when I was little for my parents, and I would give them tickets, and I would be like, okay, sit down now, and I'm going to put on this little play. So it's always been a part of my life that I've just found a lot of joy in. And as I got older, I really started to like, okay, let me really sit down and try to write a song. Like, let me see if I can do this, you know? And I sang in college and I love singing. And then, you know, when we lost Madeline, it had been a while since I had tried to write a song. I mean, it had just been a long time, busy mom. And shortly after that, you know, a few months had passed and I just started to feel like I feel like I could put a lot of what I'm feeling into song. And I specifically felt a call to write joyful music. There's one song that I wrote called Move. And it's just a fun, you can dance to it. But it's basically I just felt similarly to writing the White Pumpkin, an overwhelming sense of I've got to write this down. Like I've got to sit down and do this now. And the first few lines are, how are you doing with the pain that you've been facing? I know it's never easy chasing the joy you knew. And then it talks about love coming in and, you know, you have to move and whatever that looks like for you, like whatever that, maybe it means like going and serving somebody else to try to like, because sometimes I think when we can get out of ourselves and we go and we serve and we help somebody else, it really helps the grief and it helps us be able to do something in honor of our children and to make the world a better place and to draw others closer to God. And so songwriting for me is an outlet that hopefully serves that purpose. It hopefully allows others to feel what they need to feel and what, you know, helps them, but also feel the joy that, you know, is there and waiting for them when they're ready. And it's okay to grieve and it's okay to cry because we need to do those things. That's important too. And I Choose You, you know, does talk about how it is hard and it is painful. But it also, you know, I saw this quote, that particular song, I saw a quote one time and it was, out of all the babies in the world, I hope you know that I would still choose you. So like I would still choose you knowing I was going to lose you, you know, and that felt like something that needed to be said in song. And that felt like something that I could write about. And so I chose to write that song. And my little boy's voice is on that song. He's speaking scripture on that song.
Oh,
And
sweet.
he's 5 in the song and he's like 11 now. But he quotes scripture and it's, you know, he will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more sorrow, no more mourning, and no more pain. For the old order of things has passed away. I am making all things new. And it's just, so there is that joy element, you know, that at the end of the day, let's rest our heads on our pillows knowing that we're loved and our babies are loved. And we can feel the feelings and we can be sad. But at the end of the day, like remember how much you're loved and you're not forgotten and your children are not forgotten. And, you know, let's hold tight to that joy together. So that's what I'm trying to do with my music is to try to not just those that have lost children, but anybody that's going through something difficult. Maybe it can be something that they can listen to and feel, you know, a little uplift in their heart. And yeah.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I mean, we'll definitely share information on how to get in touch with you and check out some of your art because I think sometimes we don't want to talk and we don't want to have a conversation, but we do need to hear the words.
Yeah.
And so I think music allows us to get that validation and permission in private when we need the time alone, you know, and but we still deserve to hear it. And so I think that's beautiful. And we really don't talk a lot about the power of music and the healing power of music and even art. We do have some craft activities throughout the year. And I know that those are really popular with our families because there's something that very therapeutic in creating and listening to.
And whatever that looks like for you. Maybe you're a writer, maybe you're a drawer, maybe you like to cook.
Yeah.
Maybe you like to go for a walk. Like whatever feels good for you to be able to get to that place of rest in your own heart is good, is a good thing. So
yeah, I don't think I could think of a better piece of advice to kind of wrap up this conversation with. And I'm going to challenge everybody listening to, you know, this weekend, do one of those things, do something that brings you that joy and that rest.
Find your joyful place.
Yeah.
And invite your child along with you and
I love that.
And do it together. Yeah.
I love that. Well, I hope you don't mind me asking. This is my favorite question to ask all of our guests.
Okay.
If you could say something to Madelyn today, what would you say?
Can I braid your hair?
Can you braid my hair? I also don't know how to braid and I really want to learn.
Can I play with your hair? Can mommy
Oh,
braid your hair? That's what I would say. I know that sound, I don't know.
no, that's the best answer.
I long so much to be able to put bows in her hair and braid her hair. And I never knew how to French braid. I never knew. I was never like, I never learned when I was a kid. So a few years ago, I was like, you know what? I was just like aching to braid her hair. And I was like, I'm going to learn how to French braid. And I did it. And so now every time I French braid, I just like pretend she's with me. And I'm like, well,
Oh,
she is. I mean, she is with me. But like, I mean, I'm like, oh, let's just, and it's just like so fun to do that. And so yeah, I would say, can I brush your, do you want me to play with your hair? Do you want me to fix your hair? Do you want to curl your hair? Like, what would you like?
I love that answer so much. And
So,
you're inspiring me because I don't know how to braid. But now
it's
as a
not
mom,
easy.
I feel like I need to go learn because I would have had to
It
learn.
doesn't look good. I mean, I bless her heart. She'd probably be like, Mommy, will you do the braid for school? And I'd be like, I mean, I want to do it at home, but let's like maybe not go out in public because Mama's not very good at it. But at home, no. I'm sure I would, I'm trying to get to the place where I feel like, I am good at it. It's not easy, but yeah, it's
Well,
fun.
thank you for that really genuine answer. That was beautiful
Thanks.
and perfect. And thank you for all of your time today, Jennifer. We appreciate it so much. And
No.
I'm so excited to share this with our community. I think it'll mean a lot to the people listening and learning about No Fit Too Small and just learning about ways to honor their babies. So thank you for your courage in sharing your story and for sharing your gifts so that we can.
Thank you for all that you're doing.
Oh
Thank you
gosh,
so
thank
much.
you. Yeah. And
It's awesome to like partner with you and talk about it.
absolutely. It takes all of us. So thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning into this episode of the No Fit Too Small podcast. If you are a family navigating pregnancy or infant loss, we would love to connect with you. And of course, we're going to share all of the resources we talked about today in our show notes. But the best place to connect with us is at our website, nofittoosmall.org. Have to give a special shout out to our friends at Storyline Multimedia for holding space for these important conversations. And we hope these episodes this month in particular have inspired you to celebrate your angels proudly, to raise awareness, to say their names. And until next time, we'll catch you at the next episode of the No Fit Too Small podcast.